Hello and welcome everyone to another Iceberg interactive Twitch stream. My name is Searcher and today we will be continuing our game for Starpoint Gemini Warlords. So for those of you who are new to Starpoint Gemini Warlords, we're going to take you a bit through the basics, but I'm not going to start off a new game or the tutorial. I'm going to load up my current save, which I started in a previous Twitch stream. And we're just going to continue from there. If you have any questions or comments about the game or the stream itself, please drop me a line here, and we'll see if we can get you sorted and if we can provide you some answers. Of course, for any further or more in-depth questions, you can always go to the Steam forums where the developers of Little Green Man Games are very active and very responsive. So should you have any issues, they'll be sure to address them. So thanks again all for coming. I just loaded up my game, here it is, and I'm gonna pause it for a little bit so we can get our bearings. So let's have a look at the records, see where I'm currently at. I am Qualbert Halbert and this is my current game. I'm a level 10 Patreon. I got a frigate, which I recently bought. It's not fully outfitted yet, not maxed out at all. And we have a couple of bonuses right here. We have the sharpshooter perk, which is pretty neat. And we have a fairly good reputation with the Solari Concord, but for all the others, not so much. Nothing much has happened. We're still pretty early in the game. This is a campaign game. So if you don't want any spoilers here, then, you know, if you're new to the game, you don't want any spoilers, then you might want to skip this one. At this point, because we may do a little bit of the story. I'm assuming you have the DLC installed, is Plur asking. It is installed, yes, though I'm not nearly at a point where I am strong enough to start hunting these deadly dozens. So the DLC mentioned was actually released this week, which is quite good to see, and it brings a number of extra missions, manhunting missions basically, and you have to hunt these deadly dozen, these 12 guys who are feared and renowned throughout the galaxy or throughout the system. What I'm doing right now is I'm sending my ship north because one of my systems is being attacked and I'm going to counter them, and I need some backup here. So I'm sending my fleet, which is led by Tara Higgs, and it has an additional frigate that I captured earlier. Most of my fleet, I must say, is already destroyed, so we're not in a very strong position. So we're gonna see what we can do here. So I'm gonna move toward the location. We still have about 4 minutes or and 20 seconds to get there, but I'm gonna wait a little bit for my reinforcements to arrive because I will feel stronger if they're there. I'm also gonna anticipate some losses, so I might need to build up some additional ships. My economy is not the best, so I cannot. I don't have the resources to build any frigates, so I have to deal with a corvette for now. Yes, there is only one DLC available, Shuriel, that's correct. That was just released this week. More support and updates for the game are of course planned, both free and as DLCs. So stay tuned for more. And of course, if you have good ideas for any of them, then that is very welcome as well. Let's see if we can see Higgs coming. Should be close here. So this is my ship. It is a frigate. I got a good number of light armaments, but none of the heavy armament yet, which I need to invest in. But we'll do that after this particular combat. Okay, she's with me now, so I'm going to head to the station. I don't want to lose this sector. I only just acquired it, and it is the stepping stone to the next one. And here is our mission objective, our campaign objective, is to perform a raid here, but you know, if we can take as much territory as possible, I can increase my, or improve, I should say, my economy significantly. So here we go, and the battle is already commencing. There is one of our ships is in combat, and it is losing, so it's a good thing we're here. We have an enemy cruiser, we have 2 corvettes, so I'm going to target the corvettes first, and we probably need to get there a bit sooner, otherwise our cruiser will get destroyed too quickly. There we go, into combat right away. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to try and get all my guns firing at the same time while using my abilities. So I'm going to try and take out the corvettes first. see how quickly we can deal with them, and then we'll try and focus fire on the cruiser altogether. So I'm also going to save my ultimate ability for the cruiser as well. I need to change my power though, that's something. I'm getting a lot of damage and my shields are getting low. So I need to be wary of that. Being a sharpshooter means that I do more damage to when targets are further out, so I should try and keep my distance. I also have an ability to do just that, which is a good thing. That's the cruiser. Is that the only one left? No, I need to take out the Corvette first. They're about to penetrate my shields though, so I need to boost that. And set out a decoy. And try and get some distance. Well, I focus on the Corvette. We get some repair drones we can use, should we need them. Alright, just the cruiser left. It's still pretty tough though. And I'm using my ultimate ability to try and deal some major damage to the shields. Unfortunately, I'm being fired back at as well. We are wearing it down though. Just try and keep my distance a little bit. Well, I use my sharpshooter abilities, especially the precision shot, which I leveled quite a bit, to do some additional damage, to try and take him on. Mustn't let them get too close. And slowly but steadily, one of our allied ships has been destroyed. We almost pierced the shields though. And I should probably improve energy to my weapons again to do some serious damage, since I'm not being targeted right now. Yeah, it is a rather tough ship. We'll see if I can manage or have to run at the last minute, because it's now just me and him, and so I should put more. There the missiles are coming, and they're the ones who really do the damage. And since I don't have any of the heavier equipment or some of the torpedoes to really do the damage, I'm not in that good a position. Alright, I need to change my flank. Try and get a decoy up to take some damage for me. And could get our damage amplifier, I suppose. We got our warhead again. And it's at 44%. It's going to be a close one. $35. I really need to upgrade my ship after this, because this is really showing that it is going to be inadequate for what I'm trying to do with it. This is too close for comfort. So you got the repair drones, 9%. And there we go, we're very close to destroying it. There we go. Wow, that was a close one. All the shields were low, got major damage. I needed to use a fair bit of consumables, and I lost my entire fleet, but we did manage to keep the the forward outpost. So what I need to do now is rebuild my fleet and get repairs myself. So I'm going to head back. My new ship has been, or the Hellion has been completed, but it's not nearly strong enough to survive on itself. So I'm going to revive Terra and her ship, and I need to save up for an additional Hellion. I probably need to do a couple of missions in order to get some resources, but there's also some possibilities here, I think, with the cargo retrieval. We should be able to get some additional resources. Let's see, lost cargo retrieval and junkyard salvage run. That's pretty good. So I've tried to improve my raw materials, or my junk income, my materials income, by building some of these junk reclaimers, but I only have the tier 1 module on my station, so I cannot improve that further at this point, which is a bit of a shame. So is there any downside to go on a massive conquest tree? I don't think there is, Blora. I think you're free to do that if you like. I don't think there's a major downside. Well, I mean, one of the things is if you do the campaign, you get a couple of free T drives. So if you need to go very far for your mission, you can choose to jump ahead. So if you try and conquer everything first, it will take a significantly longer time, of course. But story-wise, I don't think there's a downside. It should not affect it too much. So yeah, I'm playing the campaign mode here. There's been talk in the chat of different modes. There are definitely a couple of different ones. If you don't want the story, if you really want the free roaming experience where you can do or be anything you want, then there are a couple of alternative starts. Either you start very, very small and insignificant, or you do like a quick start, basically, where you already establish yourself as some form of minor power. And you can start going from there. And this game is all about giving you that freedom to do what you want. So if you want to be a pirate, you be a pirate. If you want to be a trader, you can make your money that way, or by mining. Actually, let's we can do that later. And there are all these different things that you can decide to do yourself. Just test it if the suns are objects in the game. They are. I may have burned. That says the Green Gamer. Yes, the suns are objects in the game. There's been a lot of attention to detail here. You can also see I did a very mediocre, made a very mediocre attempt at customizing my ship by adding a bit of a paint job, just making it shiny so it will stand out, which is, you know, for camouflage reasons, perhaps not the best thing to do. I'm not going to use my skill point. Having said that, you know, it's one of the cooler things to do. So and it looks neat. There are a lot more options for customization, which actually we can touch upon briefly. So here you got your ship. So you can add these different emblems or paint jobs, and you can have the type of thing you want to do. So if I want to stamp one of these heads on there, let's say on the bottom, we can do that. If someone is below us, they will get scared. We can do that. We can make it bigger, smaller. We can turn it around if we want to, and we can make it really, really shiny. So we could add like a, well, that won't really work as a color. Probably needs to be a bit brighter. There we go. And that's how you can customize your ship. And of course, it has the game has full workshop support, so you will be able to, you know, add your own or create your own patches and place them on your ship, so you can really customize it any way you'd like. I'm going to keep that. I think it scares people. So having said that, we probably need to have a look at my current loadout, since I do have a fair bit of credits to spend, but I'm not really that strong at the moment because I don't have any of these heavy batteries filled up. Had I had these, the battle before would have been a hell of a lot easier. Yeah, Stickman. I mean, we're continue to gather feedback on those, and you know, they're gonna be patches down the line for sure to address some of the concerns that have been raised with the DLCs and with some of the latest changes. So one of the things we can do, I don't need any enhancements, I think, but I want to get some of these heavy guns. So let's see which one's pretty cool. We can go for lighter ones, you know, that we can max out quickly. Alright, I'm looking at the enhancements right now. That's a bit stupid. So, actually, we have still some of these Cerberus. We got 3 of them, so we can mount those. Let's mount those at the front. That will help a lot. We're going to rearm it. We're going to mount them here. And mount them here. And this will make us a lot tougher without spending a dime. How about that? So, having done that, let's see what we need to do right now. I need some materials to rebuild my ship, or my fleet. My ship is in pretty good position right now, but my fleet is quite insignificant, so I got one little ship right there, and Terra's coming back. I could build another Hallion, I think, or we could save up for a frigate, which is probably what we want to do. So I'm going to see if I can capture some enemy ships, and a good way to capture enemy ships, and also, in some cases, you know, to make a little buck on the side, is to try and get one of these freelance jobs, and these are free to do, free to take. So we got a search and destroy mission of a very small ship. It's lower level, so we don't get that many experience. But we might be able to capture it and sell it for parts, giving us the materials. So let's see if we can do that. There we go. So we took the mission. I could take my fleet with me, but I don't really see the point, I think. Well, why not? Why not be a little captain? So I'm just going to order the fleet to follow me. I don't have to do that. I can also order the fleet to do things on its own. I could even have them capture one of these sectors, well, provided they're strong enough, of course. So if you want to play this more as a strategy game, once you established yourself as a warlord, you can do that. You can play most of the game from this map, interacting with the various things. So there's still many things I can build here to increase a gas collection, for example. I could build stuff to, well, for materials I got maxed out, but there are a couple of other things you can improve as well. I need to build a T-gate here at some point, because once I got that going, I'll be connected to the transport gate network, which you can see right here, and there's a whole lot more to see and do. And for those of you new to the game, also please have a look at how big the map is. I mean, we just flew from our current location to this sector and back. And considering that this is the entire map, you'll understand there's a hell of a lot to see and to experience. And I think Terra is back as well, so she's going to be following me. Well, we're going to be heading to the mission, so I'm going to take 2 ships with me to see if we can capture that other ship. There's a lot of discussions going on in the chat between the Stickman and Pelora. Thanks, guys, for both of your feedback. Yes, there's going to be, especially with a game of this magnitude, there's always going to be stuff to fix and do for us. And it's all about our time, the developer's time, Little Green Man, and, you know, the priorities. So just say in the forums what you want, and they'll be reading for sure. They are going to be looking at it, checking it. If you have valid complaints, they're going to be addressing it. And that's something you want to do. So we're flying toward the objective. There are a couple of quicker ways of flying. So I mentioned the T-gate network initially. There are also a couple of others that you can use. Let's see, can we grapple them yet? Oh, we're still too far away. Ooh, we're gonna kill them too quickly before we can board them, probably. There we go. We are going to try and board them now. I sent my troops over and we're going to advancing. We're in the cargo bay, which you can plunder for extra loot. But I want to save up the guys to capture the ship. Hopefully when we get to the med bay, we can heal some of our wounded that have been incurred while capturing the ship. There we go. That helps a bit. You can also see that my allies know that I'm attempting to capture it, so they stop firing. Let's see if we can get it. Try and capturing it. And there we go. We pacified the bridge and we captured the ship. So now we got to choose what to do with it. And if we salvage it for parts, which is what I want to do, we can resupply some of the materials and use that to increase our fleet. We can also, you know, put it in our own garage and fly it out later. We could actually incorporate it directly into our fleet, but that costs some materials to repair. The ship was not particularly strong, so I'd rather not do that. We can sell it directly and make an extra buck. That's nice. If you have the right module, you can sell the hull for research, or if it's something, you know, that technology can be gained from. So I'm going to salvage it, and we're going to take the metal, and some ships will appear and take it away. And we also got our weekly resource yields, so there we go. Our metal has been stocked quite a bit. So I'm going to build a frigate. There we go. And once we have a frigate going, our fleet is slowly, you know, coming back. Yeah, so the Green Gamer asks, does the number of the boarding affect how easy it is to take the bridge? That's basically like being said in the chat here. That is basically the hit points of your boarding crew or your boarding party's health. It goes down as you advance. You take losses through attrition. They're trying to defend some of the stations, and you can replenish it if you get to the med bay, so you can use their medicine to help your own guys get a bit of extra power back, and use it like that before you try and take some of the, or take the bridge if you want to capture it. But you can also, you know, get to the storage and try and take that, and doing so will allow you to get some extra loot from the ship. Yeah, the convoy missions are also very good for salvaging ships. They're great for that as well. That's very true. Let's see, we got an anomaly here. That would have been a good option. Alright, are we within scanner range yet? Appears so. And there we go. So we got the anomaly sorted out, got some experience, and we have some new entries in the Geminipedia. And that's something we can have a look at as well, especially for some of the newer players who have a lot of questions. So the game comes with a tutorial that teaches you the basics, but there's also a wealth of more information about the world, about the gameplay. Sometimes with videos, so you got like combat videos that teach you stuff. You got fleet management, but you also got information on different landmarks, on different ship types. What are they good at? What are they weak against? Who built them? Where can you buy them? About the different factions, of course. About the history of the lore. I mean, this is the third game in the series, so you got Starpoint Gemini 1, 2, and then Starpoint Gemini Warlords. So there's a lot of lore that has been accrued over time about the different planets you have visited or found. And all of this will build up as you play, and so you'll get to know the world little by little. So that's something that you want to have a look at quite often if you're new to the game. There's also the personal log, where you get to see all your missions that you did, the latest news, who have the bounties on their hats. So we got the bounty guys, some of them right over here. And if you get to beat them, there is a lot of money for them. But, you know, you got to find them first. You got to know who they work for, and you got to know how to take them down. They're really, really strong and really, really good at hiding. So that's some more of the late game content, if you will. So let's see if we can do something else here. Let's show a bit of mining. I got some borehole torpedoes I can use, so why not? So we're going to mine some of the asteroids here just to show you guys how that's done. It's a valid way to make some money, though you probably want to have a ship with a bigger cargo hold than what I have right now. That's something to be aware of. I also need to restock on my repair drones and my damage amplifiers, since I used them up quite a bit. So I'm going to send out the borehole torpedo here. It's hitting the asteroid. You can also mine without it. Actually, I did not do enough damage there. It's a little bit too big. You can mine without it, but your yield will be less, so it's an efficient way to do it. So we're just going to do it again. Also because it looks cool, I'm going to be honest. There we go, a lot of loot here, or resources we can gather. And I accidentally hit the dock button instead of the collect. That's on me. And that causes a small issue right here. I'm going to be right back to you guys. Give me a second. Right, sorry about that, guys. We've got a small issue right here. I'm just trying to get the game ready again to continue. So give me a couple of seconds here. A nice little surprise there by Tia Kamir. Yeah, we're going to be looking into that. Not sure what caused the issue here, but we're going to be having a look, see if we can replicate it, and then see if we can get it fixed by the Little Green Man team. Alright, so I'm going to leave the station here. There we go. That might have something to do with it. The asteroid is back, but so are we. And I'm just going to get the camera there again. Alright, so here we are back. So I just destroyed a mine. You can then grab that and sell that for some extra money or get some extra resources. I see there are some enemies close by, so let's see if we can engage them. And my fleet is still following me, so I bring, you know, all of us together, pack a nice punch. Trying to close in. Launch our do our extra damage weapons. There we go. And that should be taken down fairly quickly, giving us a little bit of experience and some loot that we can sell. So having a look at the station, what is this station right here? This is our HQ, and this is, depending on the type of mode you play, you start out with it or you're in service of it first before you control it. But once you control it, it's all yours. You can do with it what you want. So you can upgrade it, add modules, and you can use it to get repairs, get new ships, get new equipment, Although, having said that, you can only build ships or buy ships here from your faction, so from the Fenaros faction. If you go to other places, you might find they have different architectures. So the ship I'm currently using was bought in Baldor, for example, wasn't bought locally. And I bought this one because, well, I kind of like the design. If we have a look here, for example, what we could be purchasing here, there are quite a number of ships there. Most of them are not available to me at this point, but you can buy some freighters, which are very good, you know, for trading, mining, etc. The Hallion, which is the Corvette that we were flying around with, that I was flying around with in an earlier game, I think, in an earlier stream. The Omicron, which is like the frigate, so basically my tier ship from this particular faction. It's pretty cool as well. And I could have bought that one as well. Actually, I can still buy it, but I want to save up and get ready. You know, once I get level 12, which is only 2 more levels, I get the attendant rank, and I can buy a cruiser. And once you get a cruiser, you know, then you get some of the bigger ships, which is pretty cool to see. There's the there are 2 different, or destroyer first. I'm sorry. This cruiser is of course at level 16 once you hit the adapt rank, but the destroyer is pretty cool looking. So I'm looking forward to getting to fly around with that one. So what is my role? So I'm a producer for Iceberg Interactive, the publisher of the game, so I'm not involved with development directly myself. So I don't represent the developer here, but the publisher, Iceberg Interactive, which is why we are in the on the Iceberg channel. So let's see what we can do right now. We could try and take this station here. I armed myself a little bit better. My fleet is not that strong yet, but you know, why not see what havoc we can wreak here, and see what we can do. Now we have the better armament, and now we can, you know, deal a bit more damage with our heavy equipment. Alright, so flying around here through the ice, we got our main objective over there, but it's a long way out. I'm not sure I want to do that before I start capturing some more sectors here, because otherwise, you know, you have to fly a long way through hostile territory. And also, it's been advised by one of the characters, Rain or Trace, who is doing, you know, leading the research and development section on my HQ, advised to try and take some of the sectors first to reduce their morale. We can also see on the map some of the other fleets flying. So we got a Nexus fleet flying right here. We have multiple fleets right here. This faction just got into a civil war where one of the baronies split off, and they actually conquered some sectors, I think. But, you know, the AI is doing its own thing. It's very much a living universe, and all these factions have their own priorities. You can engage in diplomacy with them. You gain a good or a bad reputation with them, depending on what you do, and all that good stuff. So we have our fleet following us, and let's just see how strong they are here. Because if we can capture that sector, we're very, very close to our objective. I think it stretches out all the way to here. Ooh, we got some hostiles right here. Do we engage them in combat? We could. Some of them are pretty weak, so if we can take them out quickly, we would be in a good position, I think. So taking them out one by one. The smaller first, the gunships. There we go. Getting some loot from them. We got a Corvette, another Corvette. Let's try and take this one. And do our missile on them. That's doing a great deal of damage. So I'm trying not to spend my missiles on them because they would need to be replenished. I'm trying to save them up for if we decide to capture the sector, and that is of course provided I don't suffer any losses to my fleet right here. Seems to be going pretty well. A nice little tip here by Plora. You want to go to the south side, which is, you know, less protected and easier to get. And there is a fair bit of resources here. So far, I'm trying to stay relatively truthful to the campaign game, which is forcing me north. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to do a bit of the role playing and want to, you know, make your own plan and be your own commander, you can go south, capture this. You can start mining here, which is pretty good. And there are some nice things to capture, so that's great advice there. Is the game sound completely muted? It's not, but I can turn it up a bit, or it is actually. Haha, I never unmuted it since the issue. There we go. Hopefully that's better to you. Okay, so let's see. Did we lose any of our fleet? We did not. So that's pretty good. So let's see if we can take the station. Let's go close. And just get out there if it turns out they're too strong. Also, I should wait for my warhead 2 to be regenerate or on cooldown. Yeah, there's a fair bit of radiation to the south as well, so that's also something to note here. Is that space is you know, vast but not at all empty. There are plenty of things to see, to do. If it is scanning anomalies, to learn more about the universe, or finding derelicts or hidden stashes of goods, or running into enemy patrols. There are very few times that you just go somewhere and nothing happens, or nothing, or you find nothing. So we got a derelict here, so let's send a scavenger swarm there. Pretty big actually compared to my ship. There we go. Derelict salvage, some extra materials. How many do we have? 600. It's not enough to expand the fleet, but it's close, I suppose.
Engaging sublight.
So let's go a little bit closer to the station.
HQ reports one of our fleets have returned.
Yeah, on you know, if you have the sharpshooter perk, your light weapons are very good for doing damage. That is true. They will match your heavy weapons in certain cases. All right, let's see how well this is defended. And pretty well, so we might want to not do this. We might want to go south first, like was suggested, and come back later, or see if we can get a better economy going.
Initiating sublight.
Let's get out of there. Hopefully my fleet will follow me and won't die in battle. I'm ordering them to retreat. There we go. So we retreated in time. We didn't lose any of our fleet. That doesn't work really well yet. We need to get a bit more distance before we give them a different order. There's a mysterious signal here. Let's check that out. Yes, I know, Plora. That is what the objective is saying. But yeah, you know, the character was saying that it might be good to try and capture some of the regions to demoralize them, which is what I'm attempting. I suppose I could try and just go for the objective. Considering this has failed, that might be an interesting option to do for today as well. Let's see, what's this? Let's heal them. Who are you? I suppose it might be interesting. So we're hearing the beeps, and we need to follow them. Actually, I think we're gonna do what the Pelora said, and we're just gonna fly toward the objective and see how far we can go, how far we can get. So it's a mission objective, so we can choose to do the T drive. I'm gonna do that right now. That should speed things up. You can see on the map how fastly I'm flying right now, but I'm not scouting anything. So that's the disadvantage of flying with the T drive. That's an interesting point, actually.
The defense fleet has spotted us. We've got incoming.
All right, let's see. Neutralize the defense fleet. They got a frigate, a corvette, and a gunship, and another gunship. We're gonna target the gunships first and take them out. Do we still have my fleet following me? I think I'm alone here. My fleet was not allowed to join with the T drive, of course, so they might run into some trouble. I should have thought of that. It's the joys of trying to play while you're talking to people. So we're continuing on. They're doing a fair bit of damage. I need to boost up my shields. But we are destroying some targets. Targeting the frigate. And I need to try and stay ahead of this. I think that, you know, if I can take down the frigate, I will be in a much better position. I got through the shields. I am getting some damage though, so I might need to use my repair drone soon. I'm using my heavier weapons to try and deal some additional damage, and that seems to be working quite well. So there's only the corvette left. There we go, that's down. Alright, let's move in on the foundry then. I'm gonna repair myself. I'm just gonna wait here a bit though to get my shields back up. More ships are coming up. And there's a fleet here, which is pretty strong as well. So
It looks like we've stumbled upon the lackeys serving a wanted outlaw. How should we proceed, Captain?
So those of you in the chat who are more experienced with the game, have any of you tried some of the mods yet from the workshop? Is that something you're looking at? Alright, see if we can transport our guys on board. Right, they got mainly gunships, which are pretty weak, so we should be able to take them out relatively easily. The Better Civilians Fleet mod is an absolute must. That's a nice recommendation. I'm gonna have to try that out. Oh, I should stay clear of those mines actually. Right, 9%, 0%. There we go. On to the next one. We found ourselves a frigate. Frigates are usually quite tough. I mean, I got a frigate myself, so technically they're, you know, the same tier as I am. Got a nice little decoy there to take some damage. Just one of the perks of being. Let's see. So, I mean, the game has been in early access for quite some time. It's been released quite recently, and now we got the first DLC out, and we got a lot more planned for the game. A great deal of this game is, and you can definitely see that in the community, is been community driven. You know, taking input from you guys, and that's something that also post-release the devs want to continue to do. So they invite all of you at all times to, if you have thoughts about the game, if you have ideas or things you dislike, or just minor tweak ideas, you know, come to the forums, tell us about it, and explain to us why you think that something has to be changed or not, and it will be considered. And you know, if it doesn't make it into the game, might very well be possible to make it as a mod and get workshop support for it. So there's a lot of opportunities to customize this game and get the game you like. There we go. We are on a rampage here. Another one down. And there are very, very few left here. There's a derelict, but what do we have here? Ah, we got a bounty. Maggie Tyson is here with a nice reward in her hat, so that could be interesting. That's something to try and get to at some point, especially for, you know, potential future stream. Let's see first if we can get to here without hitting the triggering the mines. Yeah, so the mining balance, you know, it's always a tough thing to do, because if you make it too easy, people will be, well, why should I go out and risk my life if I can make the same money just mining? So it's you know, we're trying to make it in such a way that it is worthwhile with the right equipment, with the right ship. But for an average, you know, if you're loaded out as a warship with many guns but little cargo hull, for example, it is not really worth it to do it. It could be a nice extra though, if you got some spare time, if you're trying to kill some time waiting for an upgrade to complete, for example. It's a nice way to boost your income. Can we deploy troops? Not yet. Alright. Get very close, so we're gonna get very, very close. Closer than 0 apparently. I think Stickman's saying, or Plura is saying, mining works better if you pair it with freighting. They go very well together. They really go hand in hand. The minefield should be deactivated. Right, so not all the parts are there that we needed to be there. The Roar Station, okay. Find and talk to Harks on the Roar Station, so we need to get out of here again. Get to the Roar Station, which is pretty darn far out. So it's right over here, so I can jump to it immediately, or I can get to the... can fly back first, which is pretty dangerous in this part of space. So you know, you can choose, like, do I want to continue with the mission? Do I want to do it on my own pace? There's the T-gate here. Do I perhaps want to see if I can capture this region now? Or at least one of the surrounding parts. Flying back through hostile space can be a bit dangerous. Still going to try though. The good news is that we made a fair bit of metal again, our materials. So we might be able to increase the size of our fleet again. I cannot build another frigate yet. That's really the one I want, so I'm going to hold off. So one of the other things I want to do eventually is get the T-gate going here, but it requires 3,000 materials, so honestly I cannot, it's not really economic at this point. Let's see, we're trying to ignore them. So you still got Terra Higg's low-key, 1 frigate and 1 corvette, so that's pretty decent. I want to get a couple more frigates and then a couple more corvettes, and then make them form an invasion fleet. And at some point I'd like to get to a point where I invest all my perks in you know, being a ruler, essentially, just maximizing my profits while I send out my fleets to do the fighting for me. Being mostly a strategy type player, that is the most interesting option for me to do. But if you want to be that guy who leads from the front lines, you know, take a couple of elite ships with you and do most of the fighting yourself, you're free to do so. We can take them on. Let's see. Mostly gunships. There's a bit of a distortion here, so there's some interesting mechanics. There are even some perks that give you increased defense if you're like in asteroid fields and stuff, which makes you want to pick fights in the right locations or lure your enemy with you to where you want to have the fight instead of where they might want to have the fight. So there are some interesting choices there, and we can have a little look at the perk list after this battle and to see just how many ways you can customize your own character, and how many different ways you can actually play this game. I said earlier, it's all about giving you the freedom to play how you want to play it, and the game offers a lot of variety there. All right, there's one more here coming up. We're going to collect some of the loot, and we're going to go back. So let's have a quick look while we're flying back at the perks and skills we got here. So we got skills and perks, and for each level you get your skill points. I'm trying to save up because I want to keep leveling the precision shot, which I think is a very useful skill for me. But the perks are even more interesting to me because the perks give you these nice passives that can be very interesting. So once I decide that, for example, I want to go full railgun builds, I will start doing these railgun perks, and your railguns will become very, very potent. At the moment I've been focusing on the government, so I got like the tax collector and the master of taxes, and that will give me a lot of extra money I can use to improve my ship, but also to buy some better ships or to, you know, revive Terra when she's destroyed. I also got the diplomacy perks to give me extra options in case I need to talk my way out of a fight. And you can do those, but you can also go full out for, I don't know, I want to be the best cruiser pilot out there. So you take your cruiser, and you're going to level up your cruiser perks to be stronger with that. And then you're going to level up your railgun perks to equip your cruiser with the strongest railguns. And make these combo builds that really, really make you very effective at specific jobs. But we'll probably need you to get some reinforcements and for other jobs where you might not be as good as. So it's all of you want to be like an all-rounder or specialize yourself in something particular.
Initiating scan.
Yeah, exactly. It's the low cooldown I really like about the precision shot. It also makes combat interesting since you're continuing, you know, using these abilities. But it's very potent as well, and it starts bouncing off, which is quite interesting. So you don't just damage one ship with the ability, but a fair bunch of them. So I haven't really explained it that clearly, but it is something worth mentioning. So the ones you see here are my abilities, and these are my consumables. So I need to restock them every now and then. So you got different things. I could also mention I'm playing here with mouse and keyboard, but the game also supports full Xbox controls, or full Steam controller even. So we got full controller support if you prefer that type of play. It's all about what you want. So I'm going to go right here, and I think this is a nice moment to wrap it up for today. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'd like to excuse myself again for the brief issue we had, and I'd like to thank all of you guys for staying with me. Also thanks to Tia Kamir from Little Green Man to be here with us, and thank you especially Palora and Stickman for your input during the stream. Hopefully we will be meeting again soon in another stream, trying to continue this game, and until then I wish you a lot of fun with the game, and hopefully you are gonna have a look at the DLC as well, which has been released this week, and it's just out there for $5, so it's a great deal to pick up. Thanks again for watching. We'll see each other next time. Bye bye.